What's up, my dudes? Now, what in the hell is Mitch Payton smoking? Good Lord. So, Garret Marchbanks, you know, that guy that just won the last in-stadium 250 Supercross race, the last normal Supercross race that we had, literally just won Daytona. Just won Daytona. And they are already going to be letting him go. So, Garret Marchbanks just posted just a few days ago that he was going to be going to the whole ClubMX team. Yeah, really surprised by all that. I guess he had an injury and things like that, but I am really thrown off by this whole situation. I don't know what the hell is going on here. I mean, some of you boys thinking that, you know, you can stay on a factory team getting, you know, like top fives and shit. Hell, this dude just won Daytona on a 250. Just won the damn race. And he's already getting booted before the next year. Like, oh my God. What is going on? This is crazy. Like, this is giving me vibes like when Malcolm Stewart didn't get a ride right after he won a championship. This is like really weird. Sometimes there's just these rare, weird instances where it seems like there's something going on, more shit going on behind the scenes than there might necessarily seem like, or there's got to be something else to this whole story. I mean, I could not see, you know, Pro Circuit Kawasaki getting a kid on their team from the Garret Marchbanks has been there forever. Been there way amateur, way down the line amateur, all the way, brought all the way up, brought into the pro ranks, right? Was doing pretty decent in the pro ranks, right? And then in 2020, started 2020 Supercross, he finally starts doing really, really good, right? Starts getting wins, got his win, Daytona. I think was that his only win? I don't know. I know he was kind of working up to it for sure. Anyways, got his win at Daytona. And then before they even get to the next year, they're already kicking him out after all that time. I don't know. That just seems really weird to me. Like, that, nothing about that makes any sense at all. So, I don't know. I guess we haven't really seen any official information on this situation. I just wanted to come in here and make a video on it because it is really bizarre. I mean, this one caught me off guard, like, big time. If some of you guys know more information, you can definitely let me know down in the comments. But, something's not adding up here. I don't know exactly what's going on. I mean, a lot of times Mitch Payton will give extensions through injuries, especially when you've done as good as like just getting your first win in Supercross, which, you know, is kind of an indication that you're going to keep doing that more and more and more throughout the years. I mean, like, Garret Marchbanks is still pretty new into this whole pro motocross, pro Supercross thing. So, I mean, I felt like he was like basically right on schedule to be, you know, potentially championship contender next year or the year after that. I mean, he was doing just fine. I mean, I don't see any feasible, you know, reason why you would have dropped Garret Marchbanks. I don't understand it. I'm still really confused. So either way, apparently he's going to the ClubMX team, going to be on a Yamaha. So we'll see how he can do on that. It's hard to believe. I mean, let's just keep it real right now. You know, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, and Star Yamaha, like, them two teams, if you get kicked off of either one of those teams, oh man, it's going to be tough to get back to that level. Let me just say that. It's going to be real tough. It's going to be real tough, right? It's just hard to deny the absolute domination of those two teams over the past, like, 10, 15 years. I mean, obviously Pro Circuit goes even, you know, further back, but here recently it's been a lot of the Star Yamaha boys up there near the front. So, but, you know, ClubMX is not like a full-blown factory team, so it's kind of like he had to go down a peg, but maybe if he can prove enough on that, maybe another one of these, you know, full-blown factory teams will pick him up. I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me. But that's, you know, some of you guys that get all hyped up about, you know, you got a 5th place at Loretta's, or it's like, you know, whatever. I feel like so many people get way too ahead of themselves in the amateur ranks, or they think they're literally Eli Tomac when they, get a third at a Loretta Lynn's race or whatever. Or hell, even if you win a Loretta Lynn's race, that don't mean shit. It really don't mean anything. It's not guaranteeing you any longevity, really. It might give you if you win a certain amount of Loretta Lynn's races, championships, and then you can win it right there in that 250B class in that certain time frame, then yeah, it might guarantee you a chance at a factory 250 ride. But just like in Garret Marchbanks' case, he goes in there, does decent, goes in there, wins Daytona. I mean, holy shit, he wins Daytona, and they're already booting him off. So my point being is, like, until you're literally Eli Tomac level doing that shit in the 450 Pro Supercross Lucas Oil Motocross class, until you're winning, 450 Supercross main events or 450 outdoor, races and stuff like that, until you're doing that, you really don't need to get too excited. You don't need to get too ahead of yourself, because there has been so many guys that's went all the way to the level of winning a fucking 250 Supercross championship, and then it just all kind of fades away. They go to a 450 team, they get on there for like a year or two, and they just can't really make it to that level, and then they just get booted out and replaced right after that. A lot of people just don't seem to understand how cutthroat this motocross shit is, dog. It's one of those things, man. Like I'm saying, there ain't nothing guaranteed until you're literally all the way to the point where you're winning 450 main events or 450 championships, period. Like, if you're not doing that, I don't know what the hell you're excited about, because you could be dropped tomorrow. You could be, and never get a chance ever again, right? There's been so many of them, they had a chance. I mean, I go back to Zach Bell, I go back to a lot of these dudes, they had that chance for a very, very short amount of time, and then once they get booted, once they get kicked off one of these full-blown factory 250 teams, it's so hard for them to ever really come back after that. It's like, if you don't do something amazing in those first 2 pro years in the 250 class, and then on top of that, if you don't do something really amazing in the first 2 or 3 years in the 450 class, it's pretty much over. It's pretty much over. There's not a lot of time there to learn and, like, let's get our 10ths and then our 5ths and then our, like, if you're not winning, if you're not getting podiums and winning and contending for that title, they ain't going to keep you on there for very long. And that's the way with this Garret Marchbanks situation. I'm confused, because he was doing that. Like, really? Was it? I don't know what the deal is. I have no idea. I don't know. Like I say, it's hard to say. It's hard because then you get into all this speculation of this could have happened behind the scenes or that could have happened behind the scenes. It's just very hard for me to believe all this, because, like I say, this Garret Marchbanks has been with PC forever. Forever. Amateur kid, PC, growing all the way up, just like Cincerillo, right? So, and they gave Cincerillo probably more time on the 250 class than they necessarily would have normally, but I think with Cincerillo winning all those amateur titles, it kind of gave him a little more time on that PC bike than he might would have had normally. But I think for sure Marchbanks would have came out next year and on that PC bike and won 2, 3, 4 main events, potentially title contender. I mean, holy crap. So now they're going to be replacing him with somebody else, and then now he's going to be on the ClubMX team. Oh, man. I don't know. It's unfortunate. It really is, because, like I say, anytime you go from either that pro circuit team or any of these super big factory 250 teams to one of these, like, step under teams, whether it's like, ClubMX team or Rock River, Yamaha, some of these different teams that aren't necessarily the quote-unquote full-blown factory team, it seems like anytime they drop down from one of those super factory teams down to, like, the B-tier teams, it almost never works out to where they can get themselves back to that factory team level for whatever reason. I don't know why that is, but I don't know if it's like the bike parts, if it's the I don't know if it's I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously, they're putting everything they got into those PC bikes and the Star bikes and all that kind of stuff. It's a different level, So I don't know. I don't know if, I mean, I hope Marchbanks can pull himself out of all this. I really do, but going from statistics, it's real hard for them guys to ever pull themselves back up once they do get kicked off of that initial, like, from Loretta's, factory team that they got on. So, I don't know. I'm really shocked about this whole situation. Makes no sense at all. I don't know if, like, maybe his injury was a particular kind of injury that Mitch wasn't really a fan of, like he thought it was going to cause more problems later. I mean, I don't know, right? There's just like 1,000 different speculations, but man, it's been a while since I've seen like a 250 dude literally just win a damn Daytona main event. Just win the Daytona 250 fucking race, and he's already getting booted before the next Supercross season. Like, what? I don't know. Just that in itself, like, just does not add up. Does not make any sense. So, either way, just want to come in here and talk about this a little bit. Garret Marchbanks going to ClubMX team. So, we'll see what he can do on that Yami. That Yami's got it going on, man, for sure. Of all of the B-tier teams and B-tier bikes and things like that, I definitely think Yamaha is one of the better ones he could have been on for sure, at least right now. Yamaha 250's been popping off, dog. They've been popping off for like 5 years now. I have a brand new 2016 YZ250. It's fucking killer, bro. But, with the whole Star team and all that, I mean, they've been popping off for a minute now. So obviously the bike's capable, but we'll see. I don't know. And it's bizarre to me that, like, no other factory team would then have tried to pick him up at that point. I guess but that's the thing, there's this constant flow of new people coming up from Loretta's, right? I even think Star got, like, another new guy. Even though they have Masterpool, they've got, obviously, Ferrandis. They had Micklerath at one point. I don't know if they still have him. They got the Nate Thrasher dude coming up. They've got Justin Cooper still. They still got Colt Nichols. I mean, fuck, we've got like 6-7 people on Star Yamaha right now. Like, what the hell is this? So, there ain't no spots open on that team, right? So, I don't know. I don't know what. But maybe it was just kind of a thing of all the spots were filled up in all them other factory areas. So Marchbanks just kind of had to settle for a more B-tier style team. It's really unfortunate to see, man, because he was doing everything he needed to do. I mean, he didn't come out like just absolutely destroying everybody, but at the same time, a lot of times they do that, though. Like, it takes them a year or two, and then they start showing their true potential right about that third year, right? Kind of like Webb in the 450 class, kind of like Plessinger in the 250 class. It took him a couple years. Took a couple of these guys, a lot of times it takes them a couple years before they really get it going, in the pro ranks. And it seemed like Marchbanks was just steadily going right up that normal path. But I don't know. Weird situation here. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.